Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my first tutorial project that I've designed for Country Craft Creations. This will be the tutorial on how to create the 12 by 12 album that I've designed to be a wedding or anniversary album. Now I'm not using traditional wedding papers. I am using what I received in my design team kit. I'm going to be using Prima's Poetic Rose collection in the 12 by 12 patterns, and I'll go through that with you real quick in just a second. And this first video is for how to create the album cover, and then we'll move into different videos for the making the pages and all the flaps and things and adding the pattern paper. Now in my design team kit I did receive, like I said, the Poetic Rose collection by Prima. I received 3 sheets of 6 patterns, so you have front and back different patterns, and then I also ordered an extra set of the paper pad which comes with 4 sheets of all 6, so another 24 sheets. I don't know if that's would be enough or not when I ordered it, but I'm going to stretch it out and piece some of the mats and things to make it with that, because we're going to use a lot of cardstock. I'll show you that in just a second too. So here's the papers real quick. This is the cut apart page here with the green on the back, and I want to slide through these. This is real pretty. You'll notice on this paper collection it has the real pretty rose gold metallic look on it. It also looks kind of coppery. So these are like champagne glasses. This is the B side of that. The back sides do not have any of the metallic on them. So I'll flip through there. There's this one. And like I said, these are not traditional wedding papers, but I thought the roses and some of the prints would work just fine for a wedding album or anniversary album, and I wanted the larger size so it could hold some of your bigger photos. So this one's here. Lots of pretty papers. I'm thinking this will be my cover pattern. I'm not sure yet. There's the back side. There's just some beautiful, beautiful butterflies and roses and things in this collection. There's the back side, some music sheets. So yeah, I'm going to be definitely using all of this on this album. And then I did order a whole complete another pad of the same papers. I also in my kit from Country Craft Creations got some of the Authentique Spectrum, which is in colors that kind of go with this Prima collection. So this will help to stretch some of the mats and things that we'll have in my album. Now this is where you're going to need a lot of the 12 by 12 cardstock. I'm using the Artisan that you can get from Country Craft Creations. I counted for sure you're going to need at least 61 sheets of this. There's 25 to a pack. This is 80-pound cardstock, linen cardstock, so you might want to have at least 3 packs of whatever color you're going to use in your album, because you're going to use the leftovers that you cut out and some extra full sheets to make your mats for your photos. It's going to depend on how many photos you have to go in an album, so you're going to need that. Then also in my kit I got this. I'm kind of excited to get this. There's Clearly Bold White Dot by We Are American Crafts. It's a acetate sheet, and I think I'm going to try to make a pocket out of that. I think that'll be fun. You're going to need 2 12 by 12 pieces of chipboard. You do not cut these. This is the size of the cover. But then you also need one that's at least, you're going to need to cut it down to 4 inches. So you need some scrap that you have maybe left over. And it has to be 12 inches long. So you're going to need that. In my design team kit, I also got these beautiful stickers here. These hearts by Prima. These are from Santa Baby collection, but they work perfectly with that. And then I got the Prima flowers. I got this pack of the really pretty light pink dotted sheer ribbon, some white lace, and then several different colors of the seam binding ribbon that you can order from Country Craft Creations to use on this. I also got a copper Nouveau embellishment mousse, which I think I will use on some chipboard pieces that I have in my stash, which will be really pretty, and this works almost perfectly with that color in that paper line. You're going to want at least 1 pack or a couple of the magnet sets of the large size. And then if you, depending on how many pictures you have, and if you want several of the flip out photo mats that I will show you, I'm going to start with at least 3 of the small magnet discs. And you're going to want adhesive. You're going to definitely need the 1/4 inch, and you may want a 3/8 inch and 1 inch if you have wider, or the scoreboard sheets. And then you're also going to need some adhesive such as glue, and I'm going to be using the Art Glitter Dries Clear adhesive. So that's the supplies for now. I will have some things probably from my stash that I will share with you. So let's get started. I have pre-cut the chipboard and cardstock that I need to assemble the cover for this 12 by 12 album. So you need to clear up as much space as you can in your work area, because this is a really big cover. These are the 2. You don't cut these. Just make sure you line them up and make sure that they're the same, just in case you need to square them up or trim them. But these are 2 12 by 12 chipboard pieces for the cover, front and back. And then you need 1 for the spine that is 4 inches wide by 12 inches long. So let's just set those aside for right now. And here is all the cardstock that I have cut. And my note here on what I have. So we're going to start with the 2-inch wide ones. We have 4 2-inch by 12, and we have 4 2-inch by 9.5. So I'm going to set these others aside for right now. And let's get our scoreboard. And whatever tool you use for scoring, I like to use a stylus. And we're going to lightly, that means don't press down real hard. We just pretty much want a slight score mark and placement guide here. So we're going to score each one lightly at 1 inch. So do that to all 4 of the short ones and all 4 of the long ones that you've already pre-cut. Okay, so we've lightly scored all these pieces. Do not fold them. Do not fold and burnish. These are not to be folded and burnished yet. So let me separate these. Okay, we're going to join these together. What you will find when you're making a large album like a 12 by 12 cover, you do not want, you can piece your paper longwise and get the 12 to wrap it and assemble it, but you can't, it would look funny if you pieced it again to get the height. So you can't wrap a 12 by 12 like you normally do our mini albums. So we're going to wrap the edges of this. So it's going to be assembled just a little bit different. But first we're going to put these pieces together. Got my notebook here so that I can kind of look and make sure I'm telling you correctly. We're going to take a 9.5 piece and lay it up here at the top. And we're going to take one of the 12s. And then we're going to take another 9.5 piece here at the top, like this. We're going to put those together. We'll do it again for this bottom, which will leave you 2 here to save. So you have 9.5, a 12, and a 9.5. So we're just going to take our art glitter glue. And we're just going to put a thin line on one end here of a 9.5. And we're going to attach a 12 to it. So it's about a 1/16 of an inch. Now I've actually cut the 9.5 longer than probably what we need, because I want to make sure that I have enough. And it's always easier to trim it off versus trying to stretch it out. You can't really stretch it out. So burnish this on both sides. And put some glue on the 12-inch, the short end of the 12-inch here. So we're making 2 long strips for the top and bottom edge of our cover. Like that. Wipe here. And when you're working with this white cardstock, try to keep your fingers as clean and free of glue as possible. So go ahead and join this other piece together the same way. Okay, so we got those, set those aside, take these other two pieces, these are going to go on each side. So grab your two 12 by 12 chipboard. Now in making a large album, you need to check the rigidness of your chipboard. So you see this one bends and this way doesn't. So I want this to be the side to side like this. So I have two pieces. This is the harder, this is the bendy. So you want the side to side to be stiffer. So this is going to be, now if it makes it easier for you, let's go ahead and write top here and top there. Okay, now then we're going to take this one here on the left side and we're going to attach just one piece of cardstock. We're going to place the chipboard right along that lightly scored line that we did. So just put glue in the 1-inch side that's going to attach to your chipboard. Now if you want to use score tape, you could do that. I mostly use glue, so we're going to just line this up right along that fold line the best you can and burnish that. So we're only going to attach this to the side. So you want the top up here, you want to put this cardstock strip here on the left side. So burnish this really well, make sure it sticks down. And then you're going to take this one, the other one with the top here at the top, and we're going to glue this to the right side. So again, just glue in the 1-inch piece that's going to glue onto the chipboard. There's our two front cover pieces right there. Okay, now we're going to take one of these other pieces that we cut, and we need one that's going to measure. Double check here. I need a 9-inch by 12 that I have already cut. Let's see here. Should be 9 inches by 12. Now this is going to be our spine part on the outside. It's back. Okay. Now this is where it's going to look like, similar to when we normally assemble an album. I'm going to take our 4-inch that you cut, 4-inch wide by 12 inches long, and I'm just going to compare it to my pieces that I have here. And when I cut it, I forgot to tell you, I also do the rigid side to side. This is the bendy, this long waist, so I want it rigid side to side. So we're going to take, I'm just going to follow this up. We're going to glue this one here right in the center of this cardstock here. Just, you know, center it. I'm eyeballing it the best you can. So I'm using glue again. If you want to use the score tape sheets, that's fine. You know, I placed an order to Country Craft Creations and I totally forgot to order me some more score sheets. So probably going to have to place another order. So let's just line this up side to side. Burnish that, turn it over, and burnish again. Now then, we want our 1/4 inch score tape. And we're going to use it as a placement guide. So you're going to put a strip, just like you would be if you were wrapping this with a full sheet of cardstock. You're going to put the score tape on the cardstock and butt it up nice and straight right up against your chipboard. That gives us our perfect 1/4 inch space. Do not peel off the backing yet. Just leave it on there and burnish it down to make sure it sticks down good. And then the other side. So this is the spine of our album. We have a 4-inch spine to give us plenty room for our flips and flaps inside this big album. Okay, now we're ready to attach our cover pieces. The side opposite of where you put your cardstock, you're going to butt it up right here and attach them together. So I'm going to put my glue on the cardstock. You don't need to put glue on the score tape backing, just on the cardstock. And we're going to put this on, butt it up right to that score tape, and make sure we're getting it lined up down here at the bottom. If you need to put a ruler down there, that works fine. Burnish that, turn it over, and burnish the other side. Okay. Same thing on this other side. I've got to make sure that I'm in camera view here. The space gets run out. This one's going to go here. You got your cardstock over here on the left. So put your glue just on the cardstock here. Looks like about 2 inches of cardstock that you should have sticking over, kind of like a wing. And again, right up to the edge of the score tape. And make sure you're lining up your chipboard pieces here. And turn it over and burnish. Okay, so now we have the cover at least put together. It comes up. Now we need to put something on this top and bottom edge so that we can wrap the edges. So let's just take one, and I'm just going to check it to see the length here. It's about right, so we don't have to do any trimming. So you're going to take glue, and you're just going to put it on the top. You can lay this out, this strip out, put glue on the top half up to the score line. So just on the top 1 inch, you're going to put glue. And again, you can use score tape if that's what you prefer to do. Take your cover, and you're just going to place the chipboard right up to the edge of that score line. And I'm matching the end of the cardstock right here to each end. So it came out really, really, really close, which is good. Right here, in right here. So let's make sure we burnish that really well there where those joins are. I'm going to turn it over and get a good burnish on all of this right here. I'm going to make sure it sticks. So burnish it. Don't want any places, any gaps sticking up. You want it stuck down. Okay, so now we're ready to work on what we call the top side. I'm going to turn it around so that it's towards me. And take this long piece again, and you put your glue on just 1 inch section to the score line. So now we have it all wrapped. Turn this back over, and now we're ready to do the edges and wrap. Okay, so I'm just going to take my cardstock and fold it towards the chipboard. Just after you've let it dry a little bit. To make sure those seams are good and dry. And then here on the edge. Now if you weren't right on that score line, that's okay. You're just going to fold this. You might have to use your bone folder to get a new fold. Mine was off just a little bit right there, but that's okay. Fold it. Okay, so now we're going to take our scissors, and I'm trying to decide how I want to miter cut that. An angle or a square. I'm going to go ahead and cut the square out just up to the corner of the chipboard. Right there. I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. So I'm going to use score tape and glue to wrap these edges. That was too wide for that, so let me grab my 3/8. Go ahead and put 2 strips of the 3/8 on here where it fits. I have one more side to put on. Thought I'd just go ahead and burnish this tape backing while I maneuver over to that. If you burnish your tape backing, it will peel off a lot easier for you and it'll stick down better. So now this one. Okay, so they're all burnished. Now let's check and see if we need to miter any of these edges here. So I'm just going to put my scissors right into the chipboard and just make a little angle cut. Flip it over and do the same for this direction. Okay, now we're ready to wrap it. So when this comes down, that's going to hide what says top, so I'm going to rewrite it. Here, it may not be necessary, but I'm just going to write it just in case. Now then, we're ready to wrap. We're going to do one long side at a time. Move all this stuff out of the way. You want your bone folder, and you also want your glue. So I'm going to run a line of glue right along the top edge of this chipboard, right along the fold here. I'm also going to, should have already taken my tape backing off. I'm going to pull these down a little bit. And then get these others off real quick. Okay, so starting in the middle, I'm just going to fold and press, pulling it towards me. That bone folder. Burnish anywhere it's sticking up. I'm going to turn it up, kind of burnish right here a little bit. Gives it a nice finished edge. I'm checking this one right here. Okay, so we'll turn it around and do the other side. This is the 1-inch one, so let's grab it. There we go. Okay, let's put a glue on now that we've got the tape backing off. Put a line of glue right along the top edge of the chipboard in the fold of the cardstock. And from the center, fold and pull it towards you. Burnish it with your bone folder to make sure it's all stuck down nice and smooth. Now at this point what I like to do is take the rounded side of my bone folder. You don't want to poke into your cardstock, but where that seam is here for the spine, the fold of the spine, just burnish right there on that cardstock and get it stuck down into that score tape right there. Right here. A nice fold. Okay, now we're ready to fold these sides. And I'm just checking my corners. Go ahead and take the tape backing off. Glue along the fold. In the middle, bring it in and stretch it in. And burnish. Now we do have these seams here in the corner, but that's unavoidable because of the size of the album, so we're going to cover those with paper. That's a pretty nice corner there. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, so now we have the edges all wrapped, and we're ready to, let's do the inside here. So this piece in here, let's go ahead and take these tape backings off. And I'm going to double check my size. Should be 9" by the 11½. So I'm going to get my ruler here. So I think it's this one. 9" by 11½. It's 11½ because that's the size of our pages. So we're going to want to center this where we want our pages to line up. So I'm going to also use score tape on this. I'm going to cap my glue off. I want to make sure this sticks down really nice and smooth. So let me see what I've got left of my 1", and start using it on this. So I'm going to put it around the perimeter. Move this so you can see what I'm doing on each side. Grab my scissors. Across this end. Okay, so I ran out of this. I'm going to go grab some more. Be right back. So go ahead and keep putting your score tape on the back of this inside spine piece. That's what I call it. It's going to go on the inside here of the album cover. Okay, and I want to make sure that it sticks good along the edges here. So I'm going to put score tape here on each side of this spine fold onto the chipboard. Okay, let's take our bone folder and burnish all the tape backing. Take the edge of mine and just kind of get all of it, or as much of it as I can at once. And on this sheet, okay, let's take it off the cover part first. Just take all of this off. It might be overkill to have it on both the chipboard and the paper, but just in case I've missed any spots, that's why I do that. Full coverage. Okay, so now we're ready to put this down. This is 10½. This cover is 12. So we want to line this up as evenly from the top to center as we can. So it's about, just looking here, get it straight. And burnish it down, burnish it really well. And then here where your fold line is, just gently on this side, the smooth rounded side of your bone folder, burnish down in that fold so that the cardstock goes down into the score tape that's in between the space. And you've got to very gently, you don't want to crack the paper on the outer side, nor poke a hole in your paper here. So I'm just going to burnish that gently. Just work with it. Okay, so that should be good. Now we're going to cover this inside and the outside. So now we're ready to put papers on the inside, and you should have two pieces that are cut 11.5 tall, which is the height of the pages, by 11 7/8 wide. So I'm going to put mine down with glue. So I'm just going to grab my glue and make sure we're going in the correct direction when we place this down. So I'm going to put glue all the way around the perimeter here and work with it really as fast as you can if you're using the glue. And we want some in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to stand up so that I can make sure I'm doing it right. I want to line this up and make sure that I am not into the fold over here on the side. And I'm going to keep it straight as possible here. And it should come right to the edge of your outer edge. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish that down and take a cloth and wipe off any excess glue. I want it really smoothed out. So again, you're going to have your 10.5 length going here with your 11 7/8 going out. So just burnish that. And then we'll put the other side down the same way. Grab my paper and my glue. Okay, burnish that really well, and that's the inside. Now we're going to put white cardstock also on the outside. Now you really don't have to do this if you have really heavy pattern paper. That's up to you. Same on the front. You could just cover it with your pattern paper, but I'm going to go ahead and put the white on mine to make sure that there's no seams and it's smoothed out. So these two pieces are cut to 11 7/8 by 11 7/8, and you just have to make sure that you get them down really, really straight. Go 11 7/8 by 11 7/8. I'm going to double check this. And you don't want the paper to go over your fold here. Double checking right there. Okay, so I'm going to go for it. Same method, using glue, and cover these front sides. Once you have the papers on the inside down, go ahead and on the inside and gently re-burnish those fold lines so that your cover will fold up easily. So I'm just gently reworking those
to make sure everything has got a good fold, but you don't want to poke through. And gently bring it up to train it so that the book cover will stay closed. So that is the cover for the 12 by 12 album, and this concludes video tutorial number 1. So we'll continue on in video tutorial number 2. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.